Okay, so you're here and you want to get smart fast, right? You
That's
want to
true.
know what matters
Mhm.
without getting, bogged down in all the little details.
Right.
You want to be informed, but, time is precious. So we're going to dive right in today.
Absolutely.
We're going to dive into something that you might not think about every day,
Right.
but it's something that underpins the safety and effectiveness of every medicine that you and I take.
Every single one.
Yeah, pharmacopoeias.
Pharmacopoeias, yes.
So think of these as like the instruction manuals
Yes.
for medicines, right?
Yes, exactly. They're the official instruction manual, so to speak.
Okay, so our mission in this deep dive is to understand what pharmacopoeias are
Right.
and why they play such a crucial role in making sure that the drugs we all rely on are safe
Right.
and do what they're supposed to.
Absolutely.
So first off, what are we talking about
Yeah.
when we say pharmacopoeias?
So our sources define pharmacopoeias as official compendia establishing standards for the quality, purity, strength, and identity of medicines.
Okay, so the word official here is really key, right?
Absolutely. This isn't just some,
Right,
group of people getting together and saying, oh, this looks good.
right.
These are essential legal and scientific references.
Got it.
So when a medicine is actually listed in a pharmacopoeia, it's legally bound to meet those benchmarks for how it's made
Wow.
and what it contains. And this is really the foundation for how medicines are manufactured, how their quality is controlled, and ultimately how they are regulated to protect the public.
So if a company is making, let's say, a common pain reliever,
Right.
they have to look to the pharmacopoeia to know exactly how much of the active ingredient to
Exactly.
include and what level of impurities are acceptable.
Absolutely. It's the recipe book. It's the rule book,
Hmm.
and it provides these very specific recipes and the tests needed to make sure that each batch is consistent and meets those required standards.
So they're not set in stone either, right?
No, they're not.
As science advances, these standards are updated to reflect current knowledge.
Absolutely. As science advances, as manufacturing techniques advance, these standards are constantly being updated to reflect the latest and greatest knowledge.
So our sources mention both the Indian Pharmacopoeia, the IP,
Yes.
and international ones like the USP, the BP, the EP, and the JP.
Mm-hmm.
What does this landscape of different pharmacopoeias mean for you, the listener?
If we take a step back and we look at the bigger picture of global health, right? The existence of these different pharmacopoeias really reflects the fact that different regions have their own regulatory frameworks, right?
Yeah.
So the Indian Pharmacopoeia, or the IP, as you mentioned, sets the standards for medicines that are used in India.
Okay.
And similarly, you have the United States Pharmacopoeia, or USP, the British Pharmacopoeia, or BP, the European Pharmacopoeia, the EP, and the Japanese Pharmacopoeia, the JP. And each of these serves as the official standard in their respective regions. So while the core goal is always the same, ensuring drug quality is universal, the specific tests and the acceptable levels can sometimes vary from region to region.
So a drug being sold internationally might have to jump through different hoops to meet the standards of all these different pharmacopoeias.
Yeah.
That sounds like a logistical...
It can be.
It-
It can be a logistical challenge, and this is really where this idea of harmonization comes in. There are a lot of efforts to try and align these different standards across the globe to make things easier for manufacturers while still maintaining that high quality everywhere. And organizations like the World Health Organization, the WHO, play a really big role in trying to bridge these gaps.
So to really nail this down, pharmacopoeias are the bedrock of ensuring that the medicines
Yes.
you pick up from the pharmacy are safe and effective.
Yes.
They're not just guidelines, they have teeth, right?
Exactly. They're legally binding documents.
Right.
So if a medicine doesn't meet the standards that are stipulated in the relevant pharmacopoeia, it can face serious regulatory action.
So here's something to really consider, right?
Yeah.
Imagine a world where these universally recognized standards for medicines simply didn't exist. What would that mean for the reliability of the treatments that you depend on?
Scary thought.
Yeah. You could have inconsistent quality.
Yeah.
And really think about the erosion of trust in the entire pharmaceutical system.
Right.
If there weren't these standards in place,
Absolutely.
it really highlights how crucial these seemingly technical documents are
Right.
for public health and your well-being.
It absolutely does. And it really underscores the vital role of both rigorous science and robust regulation in safeguarding these medicines that we all rely on every single day.
Absolutely. All right, well, I think that about covers it.
I think so.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Thanks for having me.
Catch you next time.
See ya.